What's happening, Wolfgang? Welcome back to the channel. My name is David, and in today's episode, or this week's episode, we're going to be hitting the foundation work on this tear down and rebuild job for QPC. So I had a comment on my previous video saying, what the hell are you actually building? And I says, that's such a great idea. I don't think I explained it very well. So what we're doing is we're using the existing floor plan, or the slab itself, with a few adjustments. Obviously you can see we're putting some load-bearing thickenings in here for the first floor loadings. And we're actually going to do a little bit of extension over there, but I'll talk about that soon. But we've ripped it down because the house was leaky, obviously, from the last episode. Now, I thought I'd better just come through and just show you exactly what we're doing. We'll do a bit of a floor plan tour. Okay, so as you can see, I've already done some scribbles on here. These scribbles, this is the ground floor. Now, you can see I've just done a few scribbles on our block walls, and that's the reason I've done that is the pre-nail detailer didn't allow for our block walls. So I just went through and highlighted exactly where they are and what heights they're sitting at. But anyway, enough of that. You can see this is our ground floor level. So this is our front entry coming through here. This is actually facing exactly where we're looking. Go down, pretty much coming through into the dining room. Nice open plan living area. We've got a study, a lounge, and a garage. There's not a lot changing down here. Just extending the size of the garage a little bit, and then adding this little this bathroom in here. Now we go upstairs, and this is pretty much where all the bathrooms are. Not bathrooms, but yeah, bedrooms and bathrooms. So we've obviously got the master bedroom ensuite, walk-in wardrobe, and then the master bedroom. And then we're going to be coming through, and there's 3 bedrooms. So it's a 4-bedroom home with a study and some beautiful bathrooms that are going to be going in there, I'd say. Now let's just have a look at some of the elevations, just so you guys can get a better idea. So it's going to be it's just going to be a standard weatherboard house. We're going to be putting new long run roofing iron on the top, and there's going to be just aluminium joinery going in with scribers down the sides. There's a couple of small cool details that we get to do, which is a screen wall on the front entry, which will be cool, which will be quite a nice little video. You guys get the gist. It's just going to be a 180mm bevel back weatherboard house with corner soakers and aluminium joinery. It's going to kind of look like that, but the weatherboards are 180 instead of 150. So anyway, if you haven't already, make sure you click the like and subscribe button. It goes a long way to growing the channel, and leave a comment down below. I get to them when I can. I'm a busy lad, so I normally reply like once a week, but anyway, I really appreciate all the comments. I've been loving it. So let's just take you through what we've done already with the foundation. So we've cut our thickenings that we need to be putting in here. We got the concrete cutter in to do that. We set the saw at 85mm depth, and the reason for that is we don't really want to be damaging this polythene membrane, because that stops any moisture coming up from under the slab and into it. So we've tried our best to keep at least 150mm away. Well, you can see it's pretty hard, but 150mm off the edge of the slab damaged. Now in areas that are super close to the edge that got damaged, what we're going to do is when we cut this out and dig our thickening, we'll undercut underneath the slab, and we'll tape it out as best we can, and that's going to prevent any moisture from coming up through. One thing that was really hard about this when we were breaking this out yesterday is the mesh itself for the slab. You can see that we got it here. Normally it's chaired out, so it sits pretty much halfway in between the top and the bottom of the slab, but you can see there was no chairs installed when the slab was poured, so the mesh was right down the bottom, and it actually made it really, really hard for us to break this slab out. But that's okay. We've got some existing thickenings in here, And this is pretty much what our thickening detail is going to look like once we're finished in here. You can see that we've got 2 D12s, HD12s with a link, and that's going to come in and flow in. It's going to connect into that blockwork and connect into this blockwork. Same thing over here. We've come across we've got a few thickenings in place. Now Dave's just going through cleaning that out, and then we'll go through and we'll mark exactly the center of our wall, because that's where our thickening needs to go, and we can bend and tie our steel to those measurements. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll mark these out, and then yeah, we'll start digging out the thickening and maybe installing some steel. See how we go. Oh, and a side note, we're going to have to move this spar pool, so we might get to see that today too, even though it's not part of this video, but that's okay. Far out, made it back on site. Haven't been here for a few days. Look, the boys are freaking smashed out all our steel. Look at that, well, most of it anyway. Got a few little bits and pieces to complete. Our freaking foundation details, slab thickenings now. You can see here, we've got our slab thickening down underneath our D12 rebar that connects the 2 slabs together, and that's just for a load bearing wall that's coming through, and we also got the slab extension that comes out. We need to get a polystyrene pod to go in underneath that, but we've got these HD 10s bent over, starter hooked into our thickening detail, and these are at 200mm centers, so nice and strong. We still need to put some horizontal bars this way, but we can't put them in until we get our pod to go in there. So it's a special order, and it's taken a little bit longer than usual, but our thickening is 300 wide. We've got 3 D12s running around the perimeter, and then we've got these links, these 300mm links that sort of hold everything together. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. Miles is just calculating the concrete at the moment. You can see we've got our existing thickening that comes in. We sort of tied in with it. It's looking pretty good. We've also installed some polythene. Now we've got a few layers there. We've got one underneath the existing one, and then one on top. So that should be plenty enough to stop any moisture coming through. That's one of our big concerns. Not really a big concern, because we're actually got a concrete sealer that goes here. And what that's going to do is that's going to prime the concrete, so when the new stuff comes in, it's going to be able to attach together pretty well. And you can see we've scabbled the slab there, so it's good adhesion through. We've just got to go through and clean all that up. That's pretty straightforward. We've got the engineer coming in today to have a look at our footing details at least. And once we get our concrete calculation, we'll call places and see where all our other stuff is. But my little plan of attack for now is Here's another little slab extension. Again, we haven't put our starters in and run them through like that because we need to get a pod in. But yeah, boxing just sitting there. So my little mission in here is to just sort of, we've got a nib wall that comes in through here and wraps around and then up to the garage door rebate on the other side of that, and that's going to get our ground clearance heights from our bottom plate to our finished ground level. That's going to get it at the right height, I should say. So I'm just going to break this flashing out, tidy this area up, and drill some threaded rods in and tie it together, and hopefully we can get that sorted before midday. Engineer, I think he's going to be pretty happy. Looks fucking mean. Right, so this is our detail that we're trying to achieve for our nib wall. We have a threaded rod that's embedded into the existing slab, 120 mil, and that comes up through our nib wall that we're creating and into the bottom plate, tying everything together. We then have this thing called a water bar or a sword flashing that gets chased in and then epoxied, and then we also have a starter bar that connects all our threaded rods together. So just coming here just to check that, get our measurements for where we need to drill, how far apart we need to do them at 400 centers, and then we also need to do our chase flashing. So if that's going to be 60 mil to the center, I'm assuming that this is going to be about 30 from the edge of the slab. So I'll go do that, I'll go and chase that, cut that in, and then rock and roll. Just blowing out the holes, get all the dust out of them so the epoxy has something solid to attach to. If we left the dust in there, the epoxy will attach to the dust and just come straight out. So quite an important step. So just cleaned up the concrete, got rid of all the muck and stuff off it, and then just scabbled it out with our chase flashing in there, or our water bond, and yeah, now we're pretty much ready to do some epoxying, which is good. Now with the epoxy, we're using a Ramsec Epicon C6. It's a structural concrete adhesive, I guess you could say. And we just want to squeeze out a few pumps just so it mixes through the tube properly. It'll change a different colour, and then we are good to go. Okay, sweet, so you can see that we managed to tie all this in. Got a bend in our It's funny they asked for a threaded rod. It's galvanized. The reason it's galvanized is because it's so close to the edge of the concrete, 40 mil. So yeah, pretty cool. We've got our pods here. This is what they look like. So we're going to trim those up and slide them in through here. And it's really just a packer, so there's not so much weight on the existing slab. And it makes it a little bit stronger as well. So that's cool. Ready to rock and roll, baby, which is wicked. Oh well, the engineer came and he gave us sign off. He said everything looks really good and tidy. We're actually able to do this all in one big pour, which is really cool. But we're actually just going to pour the foundation first, so it's easier for us to box up again. And he's really happy. He's really happy. One other little detail was this nib wall. We spoke to him about this. Not nib wall, but we want to add another block onto it because we've got the incorrect ground clearance right up at this point on the back side through here. See that? It's only about 110, so he's going to draw us a detail for that, and I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty much going to look like, let's just say this is a front-on view of the block. He's going to drill the starter or the HD10, oopsies, come up, and we're going to put a little hook on it, hard to see from that angle, and then another rebar will run pretty much parallel with the blocks all the way around and in. But this, let's just say this is the side-on view of our blocks. Jeez. The star's going to come in and just a little hook on it like that, and then the bar run all the way through. It's like that. So everything's all sorted. That's pretty much going to wrap this video up. Just trying to keep into consideration making sure our steel's nice and tidy, using the correct spacings, using the correct systems like our polythene to stop any moisture, it's a moisture barrier to stop anything coming up through the slab itself. And yeah, we'll probably see you on the concrete pour, I guess. See how that goes. Show you a bit of boxing. We'll pour all this concrete, and then yeah, hopefully the weather's not too bad. Hope you enjoyed it and got a bit of information about our nib walls and steel tying. You suck, Miles. Eh? My steel tying. My nipples. And that will be it. Sorry, just spoke to the owner. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. And we'll see you when we're pouring some concrete. Peace.